guys, Julia here from JM Squared Vintage. Welcome back to the channel. I am here today with a bins haul. Actually, this is a two-part haul. I went to the bins. I have about 35 items from there, but while I was out and about, I happened to be close to one of my favorite little like charity shops. It's pretty bougie. It's in a very expensive area. So anytime I'm around that area, I like to pop in. So I got a few little gems from there as well. But lots of cool stuff to talk about either way. Some cool vintage, some great brands, etc. But before we get started here, guys, if this is your first time here, if this is your first time stumbling on my channel, first and foremost, welcome. I am Julia. That is my name. We talk all things thrifting and vintage and the business of reselling on the internet here. If that sounds like something that you might be into, consider hitting subscribe down below. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, like I said, I've got a lot of items to get through and a lot of cool stuff to talk about. So why don't you go grab yourself a snack, grab yourself a drink. You know I've got my matcha latte. So sit back, relax, and let's get into the goods. So I think I'm gonna start off with the stuff that I got over at that Bougie thrift store. How bougie is it, do you ask? Well, this is the bag they sent me home with. So, bougie. So I want to clarify that this isn't a consignment store. It isn't super expensive. It is a thrift store, but it's like a charity shop. And for the most part, they do have some things that are in like a boutique section and they're a little bit higher priced. But for the most part, the prices are kind of like regular Goodwill prices. Like shirts are $4 and then dresses I think are like $6. And you know, it's mostly around that area. As a matter of fact, this is a place a couple months back that I saw this Todd Oldham gown, and like Todd Oldham was like my gateway drug to fashion. He hit at like just the right time for me, right when I was like 13, 14 years old. His designs were joyful. They were really kind of creative the way he did it. And I think about that dress at least once a week. I wish I had grabbed it. It did not fit me. It had a little bit of damage. I also don't care. So the first thing I grabbed was something actually for me. So I'm gonna try this on to see if I like it. This is from Anthropologie, and it is this pretty lightweight cotton halter neck style dress. It's got a little belt in the middle and a handkerchief hem. I'm just obsessed with these colors, and it's really lightweight. It's in great condition. If this doesn't look good on me, so that's always gonna be a thing if I go out thrifting and I buy something for me. For the most part, it's also gotta be something that I can also sell. This is by Lilka, which I know is an Anthro brand. So if it doesn't work for me, I'll probably see something like $30 to $35 on it, maybe a little bit more. Sold comps on this particular dress are kind of in like the $40 range. So hopefully it works for me though, because I just love these colors. And surprising to really nobody, I have a lot of black dresses. I have almost no dresses with like bright colors. I have a lot of black, I have a lot of navy blue. Next up, I grabbed this. This is such a pretty little pink silk shift dress. This is from Rory Becca. Rory Becca doesn't exist anymore. I think she was around kind of in like the late teens, but this style is pretty classic. Again, this is 100% silk. It's in fantastic condition. It's this beautiful vivid pink. It's a size small, and I'll probably see something between like $30 and $50 on this. A lot of her dresses were a little bit like of the era. This, on the other hand, is pretty chic and timeless, but the quality on it is absolutely gorgeous, and I'll probably try to shoot this on the mannequin just to give it a little bit of shape underneath, but we'll see. I've never found anything Rory Becca before. I remember the name, so I saw it and I grabbed it because the price was right. Next up was this pretty silk shell from 10 Crosby by Derek Lam. This is navy blue and black, and I absolutely love this color combo. It's a pretty simple silhouette. It's just got this little point here. It's a V-neck. It's a size 4, all navy on the back here. 10 Crosby is a diffusion line from Derek Lam. I'm pretty sure it's like his old workshop address or his old office address, but it's still very, very pricey. I literally just sold a pair of 10 Crosby shorts, I want to say, for about $50. So this probably retailed like $300. I'll probably see somewhere around $40 on this. Again, it's very timeless. It's very classic colors, really, really pretty. Next up, this is a Weave It Free piece, and this kind of thing I think is gonna sell very, very quickly. So it's like an oversized open weave cotton resort wear style top. This is definitely women's. For a second I was like, is this for men? Cute little like cabana stripes. I love the colors. They feel very right now. It is a size medium and obviously very, very oversized. Like I could wear this easily. And it looks like sold comps on this shirt in particular look pretty solid. I want to say they're around like $40. I'm gonna guess that this is probably from like this year or maybe last year at the oldest. Like it feels brand new. Like it really doesn't feel like it's seen much wear at all. This is something that I'm gonna get listed like ASAP. I believe at the time that this video is going live, like I'm filming this at the tail end of July. Obviously we're into the fall buying season, but there are a lot of places that stay very, very hot until like October. I mean, typically our hottest months of the year are like August, September, and October, and I'm sure it's the same down in like Arizona. It's not until like November that we really start to cool off. So lots of great pool days still to come. Next up here, we've got this really cool peasants shirt from ALC. I think ALC stands for Andrea Lieberman Corporation. And I always confuse ALC with APC, but both names you should commit to memory. ALC is LA based, where APC is French based. They're both high end. APC is a little bit more like craft focused, where ALC is a little bit more ready to wear, but still definitely very high end. It's got these really interesting sleeves. So they're kind of like puff sleeves, but you see they've got like a little additional elastic band a few inches up from the cuff. It has a really cool effect when it's on. But something like this, I'll probably see somewhere between like $30 and $50 on. ALC is still definitely a very, very expensive brand, and I like that this is kind of a basic. And I like this being kind of like a basic with interest. So it's really, really nice. Next up, I found a linen blazer from Pomander. And that's not to be confused with Pomander Place, which is another name you should commit to memory. Pomander Place is a house brand for Tuckernuck, and their stuff sells very, very well. Pomander is a French-based brand, but very, very high-end. I actually have a friend who I might gift this to just because it's about their size, and it's just a beautifully made, gorgeous linen, and you know, just a very classic warm weather staple. But if I am to sell this, I'll probably see somewhere $40 to $50. It is very, very high-end. However, it's a small brand, and I don't think many, US buyers are super familiar with it, but I didn't necessarily buy this for resale, just like the Anthro dress. So fingers crossed if it's my friend. Okay, two more things from the Bougie place. And this is a label I'm sure most of you will know. This one I paid up for a little bit. I think I paid $16 for this. And this is Jenny Kane. Definitely a label you want to keep your eyes out for. It's really easy to miss. It's black and it's tonal. This is a silk striped shirt. I think this is called the boyfriend shirt. Jenny Kane, if you are unfamiliar, is like just wildly expensive, extremely high-end, good basics. Like they do gorgeous cashmere sweaters. They were kind of like the people that brought fisherman sweaters back to like main popularity. This shirt probably retailed like $350, and on the resale market, I mean, really anything Jenny Kane. On the resale market, this will probably fetch somewhere like $80 to $120. So I don't mind paying up for something kind of at that level. Would I pay this if this was something I was gonna get $30, $40 for? No, my goal generally, if I'm shopping in a place like that, my goal is always to see if I can triple my investment. And that's kind of like the baseline that I wanna be. If I find something that I can get like $150, $160 for, like I would pay up to $50, right? Like that's just kind of how I operate. That's kind of my ethos when I go shopping in higher end places. And this is a label I'm always excited to see. Actually, one of the times I was in this store specifically, like years ago, I found a Jenny Kane cashmere sweater that sold in like 2 days for $250. So guys, keep your eyes out for that label. And let me know if you have ever found anything Jenny Kane, especially if you've ever found anything in the bins. I've never found anything in the bins. If you found something for dirt cheap, let me know what it was. Let me know what you sold it for. Let me know how fast it went. I just need to celebrate that with you. And finally, this was something I was so excited about. This was in like the regular thrift section. This is from Show Me Your Muumuu. This is an amazing brown corduroy flare leg jumpsuit. Now, about a year or two ago, I found this exact same jumpsuit, but it was in cream, and I found it right next to a very similar dress. It had, really the same vibe. They were the same size. And they both sold within like a week of me listing them for, I think one sold for like $90 and the other one sold for like $110. And Western is still a really big movement that's happening right now, and we're going into the fall. This is a good transitional piece. It's a shame we don't have like Stagecoach coming up right around the corner, because this is 100%, despite the fact that it is corduroy and the Indio Valley is incredibly hot during Stagecoach. But this is 100% something that somebody would wear to Stagecoach. Very, very, very exciting find. And this is like brand new condition. And you know I am the child of people who reuse every bag and every box. In fact, we have Christmas boxes that have been making the circulation for at least my entire life. This bag will get many more uses. So that is it for the Bougie thrift. Let's move on to the bins. So the first thing we have here is this great Eileen Fisher skirt. I want to say that this is linen. Yeah, 100% linen. This is vintage for sure. This is one of the older tags. But I don't think it matters. I mean, the thing about Eileen Fisher stuff is it never goes out of style, you know, very like minimalist, you know, kind of like a modular wardrobe type thing. You buy 1 or 2 pieces a year and you build up a fabulous wardrobe your whole life. But it's a full wrap skirt, right? And I want you to see like, it's this kind of like open weave, like chunky linen. I absolutely love it. It's a size medium. I'll probably see for something like this. Oh my God, this is gonna look so good when it's all steamed up. I'll probably see something like $40 to $45 on this. I think that this has a lot of appeal to like Eileen Fisher wearers. I also think that this style, just given the length, the color, the material, I think that this has a lot of legs kind of outside of the Eileen Fisher world right now as well. So always excited to find a piece like this. All right, next up, this is a great piece for men. This is from Vince. And when I picked it up, I felt it. I'm like, oh my God, this feels like, you know, cashmere. And it's a cotton cashmere blend, but it's just a little like Henley sweater. Really, really nice. Size extra large, perfect condition. Vince, of course, one of those brands that's so expensive retail. They don't quite get, you know, I'm not gonna be selling this for $85, even though this probably costs like $300, $400 new, but I'll still probably see about $40 on this. It's a good basic, it's got great fabric content. And men's stuff in general, I've actually talked to a bunch of you guys about this in the comments. I find that men's shopping tends to be a little bit more brand driven than women. Like, you know, there's just less variation in general for most men. Obviously, there are fashion forward men out there that are like looking for different styles and whatever, but something like that is something that like 85% of men would wear. You know, men tend to be a little bit more homogenous with what they wear, especially with their basics. So something like that should be a pretty dang quick sale for me. And I'm always pumped when I can find something like that in the bins. I would have probably gladly paid up for that if I found that in the regular thrift too, just because of what it was. Next up, oh my God, I thought this was so cool and so perfect for fall. This is vintage. This is from the Territory Ahead, which is a brand that still exists. And their stuff always feels very like Pac Northwest to me. Like, could you not see this at a coffee shop in Portland? This is like a grid corduroy. It's a really cool texture. I've only found a few pieces in this, but it's in perfect condition. I love the color. It's got these really interesting buttons that look like they're made with like resin and like grasses in them. Let me show you up close because this is so unusual. Hopefully you can see the detail. Let me get my face out of there. Yeah, so it looks like there's little grasses in there and you can kind of feel the edge of them. Like you can kind of feel the stuff that's in there like along the edge of the buttons. Really just very interesting. Anyway, something like this is where you would use that kind of like gorpcore, crunchy, you know, you would use boho for stuff like this. Gorpcore, and I know I've talked about Gorpcore before, and that's G-O-R-P-C-O-R-E, if you're not familiar, it tends to lean a little bit more towards like the technical. So like you'll see the Arc'teryx jackets or like the Arc'teryx beanies that like every kid in the whole world is wearing right now, or the Salomon like trail runners. That's kind of in the Gorpcore world, but there's also a component of like vintage outdoors wear that is kind of, I don't even want to say like adjacent because it is part of Gorpcore as well. But when you have these kind of things that look like, you know, a hiker in the 90s would have worn it, 100% you need to be using that keyword. So something like this, you know, again, probably somewhere around $30. This is in great shape too. This looks like it could be brand new. Next up, now this is from Victoria's Secret, and I almost never pick up their satin that is not silk, but this was a full set. And the little nightie is brand new with tags. This is a medium, and then this is a size small medium. So I will kit these two up and get them listed. I'll probably end up seeing like $30, $35 for them. They're a great color. Again, you have that new with tags component to it. Oh my God, it's funny. I'm just like a moment to vent. I once had a return opened. I think it was on Poshmark from a Victoria's Secret nightgown. And if you ever notice, I'll show you, their size tags always show the abbreviation for medium and then the abbreviation, I believe it's in Spanish. So small is small and like pico, I think it is in Spanish, so it's SP. And somebody opened return saying that this was a petite, and I didn't tell her. And I explained it, and Poshmark still put through the return. So I don't know how we can kind of avoid that because that's just how they do it. But yeah, that was a frustrating moment for sure. Next up, a little vintage BB piece. Now, BB's not a brand that I pick up all that often, but I do pick up more like Y2K vintage pieces. And this is silk and like a stretch Swiss dot net with a lace trim. It's a size small. This looks like so Y2K. It's got a little hook and eye closure. And again, this is like real silk and then a nice stretch thing. Maybe something I'll photograph on the mannequin because this will look good with like a body under it so you can actually see this little split. But something like this I'll probably see like 25, 30 bucks on, primarily because of the age. I just generally don't pick up a ton of the modern stuff. I do see BB quite a bit in the bins, but let me know if you pick up anything from them, because they are a pretty high-end brand. Like I remember in the Y2K era when I was really heavily mall shopping, like it was an aspirational brand. So let me know what you guys do about BB. Do you pick it up? Do you leave it behind? Let me know. Next up, this is a bridesmaid's dress. This is one of the few brands of bridesmaid's dresses that I pick up. This is Birdie Gray. A few reasons I picked this up. Number one, this is flawless condition. Doesn't look like it was altered at the hem. It's a size extra large and it's a really popular color for bridesmaid's dresses. So something like this, I mean, Birdie Gray is pretty inexpensive, just like FYI, if you are getting married or you've got a daughter getting married soon and you need to start looking at bridesmaid's dresses, they're really good about having like multiple dresses in the same color. If you guys have like a big bridal party, you've got 11 different people with 11 different bodies, you can say, okay, I just want you in the olive green, whatever dress you feel comfortable in. And I want to say that they retail like 90 bucks. They're pretty reasonable for bridesmaids dresses because like bridesmaids dresses can go, you know, into the atmosphere. I think the most expensive one I ever had was one from Sala and it was $400. So I would have preferred this. But yeah, this should sell fairly quickly and I'll probably see about $35, $40 on it. Anytime I pull in a Birdie Gray, they do well for me. They seem to be one of the more popular bridesmaid dress companies right now. Birdie Gray, Revelry, and like Azazi. Next up, nothing says fall season like some chunky sweaters coming out. This is from Free People, and this is like an oversized, chunky cream sweater. This is pretty open knit. I think that this is acrylic. This doesn't feel like wool. It's a size medium. Oh, it's actually 32% wool, but it is light. This actually feels quite light for heft of it. But it's super cute. Again, cream, chunky sweater. A little bit in the fisherman world, not quite, but a Free People chunky sweater is usually a pretty safe bet. I'll see somewhere probably $30 to $40 on it. Give it a little wash, give it a little bit of a cleanup, and should be a pretty quick sale as we're coming into fall. Literally, it's pretty hot in this room right now and I'm sweating just holding this, so. Next up, this is actually something that I got for me. Again, haven't tried it on yet. This is Mayo Melli, you know, which is a made in Italy, like linen brand. I think that you see them in like TJ Maxx and whatever, but this is kind of like a log and look style cocoon dress. I love the color. I love the weight of it, and obviously I'll try it on, and if I don't like it on me, because this just looks like something I want to live my entire life in, I will list it. If I do end up selling it, this will probably go somewhere in the vicinity of like $35 or so, with that distinct log and look silhouette with the like cocoon dress. If you're not familiar with cocoon skirts, I hope you can kind of see this. They basically, if you lay them out flat, they kind of look like they tip in at the bottom. So it gives like a little bit of like volume play without it flaring out at the bottom. That's called a cocoon skirt. Make sure you're using that keyword. That really does open up the buyer pool for something like this. Like this is something that will sell in no time flat, no matter what time of year. It's a good color. It's that really like lightweight linen, just like those Eileen Fisher pants, and it's great. I hope it works for me. You know, like that's occupational hazard. But at least if it doesn't work for me, I'll be able to get it into the hands of somebody for whom it will. Next up, this is something that I grabbed mostly because Halloween's right around the corner. This is just like a little red croc embossed. It's like PU. This is faux leather. Little corset crop top. This does have some boning in it. I love this like peaked neckline. I think that this is so flattering on pretty much every bust line. If you've got Big ladies, it looks great and frames them. If you've got little ladies, it does a good job of like pushing them in, right? Zipper back here. It's from a brand called Finesse, which I don't think is a particularly super high-end brand, but I do think that this will sell really quickly, if for nothing else than with Halloween around the corner. I can't even believe we're saying that, but this is the kind of thing that'll sell leading up to the spooky season for sure. Next up is this cute little windbreaker from Helly Hansen. Talk about a brand I don't see that much here in California. This is like lightweight, it's got a funnel neck. It's that like powder pink color, and it's like really like, it's not the stiff windbreaker, it's not like a rain jacket. This is probably like water resistant, but by no means waterproof. Helly Hansen though is a brand you should have on your radar. The logo is gonna be kind of hard to see, but it's that like tonal HH. They are a Norwegian-based outdoor brand. Oh, so could have shown you this. That would be a little bit easier to see, huh? So they're a Norwegian-based, they do a lot of like ski jackets, hiking jackets, stuff like that. Their quality is exceptional. They're fairly high-end. They're not like the highest end by all means. Like ski jackets go to the moon with their prices. Just look up Moncler and Juice and stuff like that. But definitely in like the upper levels of like the mid-range prices, and their quality is fantastic. So if you're like in the market for stuff for yourself, absolutely check out Helly Hansen. The one thing I will give you a little bit of a warning on fit-wise is that because this is a Euro-based brand, this goes along with most other Euro-based outdoor wear brand. They call it like a Euro fit, which is just much straighter. So if you are somebody that's got like curves, or you got like big hips, or you got some big ladies, a Euro-based outdoor wear brand is maybe not your best bet. I have recommendations if you need them. Like, let me know and let me know what you need it for. I can certainly point you in the right direction. As somebody with a booty and girls, Euro brands are not for me, but really good stuff. Keep your eyes out for them. And you know, if you find one of their ski jackets, like pretty comfortably pay up for it in the thrift. Obviously, if you see them in the bins, pick it up. Pretty much everything I've ever found from Helly Hansen. I haven't found much out here. I did find a little bit more in Utah. Has sold very, very quickly. It's a name with a great reputation, and it's definitely sought after. So a good brand. All right, next up. I haven't found this brand in a while, and I was finding it pretty frequently there not too long ago, and that is Cut Loose. Cut Loose, I want to say that they're like Bay Area based. I think they're Northern California based. And their stuff is like, this is a linen slub. All the tags are cut out of it, but I've sold this exact shirt in brown twice. And it sold for like 24 bucks. They sell really quickly. I think that there's like a real cult following for Cut Loose. If this is your vibe, for sure you should be keeping your eyes out for Cut Loose pieces. They're really beautifully made. They wash well, they wear well. And again, they're always a quick sale for me. Anytime I find them, I will pick them up. And if they're even $3 or $4 at the regular thrift, I would still probably pick these up just because I know that they sell really quickly. Next up is this pretty eyelet, like this is like a swim cover up. This is an eyelet tunic, and it's from a brand called Raj, which I've never heard of before. The sold comps seem to be pretty decent. It's got these nice kind of wide sleeves. They're not bound in at the end. This eyelet is absolutely stunning. It's a size medium. I don't know if this was meant to be like an actual shirt or if this is meant to be a swim cover-up. Like I would 100% wear this as a swim cover-up, but it is just lovely. So something like this probably, like I'll have to do a little bit more research on the brand, but something like this I'll probably see like $25 or so on. It feels really nicely made though, so it might end up being something that I would get a little bit more like $30, so we'll find out. Let me know if you're familiar. Next up was this beautiful silk top. This is like a bat wing top. It's from Made in Italy, which is like the brand as far as I know. I see a lot of linen pieces by them. I think that they're more of like a boutique brand, but they specifically do silks and linens. So that's the sleeve, and it's just this very wide kind of drapey shark bite hem top. It's really beautiful, really, really floaty. I like this color. Looks so nice on like olive skin tones, but something like this I'll probably see. Now I've never sold any of the silk pieces from Made in Italy. I've done a ton of their linen pieces. So probably somewhere in that same range, somewhere between $20 and $30. It's really, really pretty. I can imagine that this will go fairly quickly just because of what it is. Very ethereal. This is like gossamer. The absolute lightest weight silk here. This can even go with like minimalist, minimal, etc. Next up, we are creeping into cashmere season, baby. This is from Nadam. Nadam is An affordable cashmere company, and I gotta say, like, the quality of their cashmere is excellent for the price. I want to say that their classic cashmere sweaters run about $100. In fact, my very first ever, and the one that I still have, I think I've had it 6 or 7 years, and I mean, this thing gets worn like every week in the winter. And on the resale market, they sell pretty decently. It's not like a super high-end brand, so I'm not going to be getting like $100, $200, which I have gotten on some cashmere pieces, but I'll probably see around $40 on this. It's a classic silhouette, classic color, easy peasy. Not me checking the size to see if it was my size. It's not, so it'll go for sale. Also, if you're looking to treat yourself in the cashmere world, Nadam makes really good stuff, so buy from them with confidence. Next up, we've got another little Eileen Fisher piece. This is just a boxy double gauze peach shirt. A nice basic. It's a size large. These kind of classic pieces will always sell really well for me. Something like this I'll probably see like $25 to $30 on. This isn't a particularly like significant Eileen Fisher piece, but you know, the name carries it, and it's a nice little basic, easy breezy, and everybody loves a double gauze moment. Double gauze is actually a really good like transitional fabric. It's great for summer because it is breezy, but it does actually provide a good amount of warmth. Like, double gauze blankets are trending right now, so don't discount double gauze as something that you can't sell any other season outside of the summer, because that should sell pretty much all year long, maybe slows down a little bit in winter. Next up is this super cute little terry cloth crop. This is from L-Space. Love finding L-Space stuff. It's a higher end like swimwear resort wear brand. That is the logo you're looking for. Most of the stuff I've ever gotten from them is sold pretty quickly. This is probably meant to be a swim cover-up, and if I have to guess, this was probably part of a set, but even as such, I'll still probably see like somewhere between like 25 and 32 on this. L-Space is quite spendy, so keep your eyes out for it, especially for the swimwear. Next up, now this was a great find. This is from Pendleton, and it's in like fantastic condition. Obviously, if you see a Pendleton wool shirt, you need to be picking that up. You comfortably pay up for it in the thrift store. This is the kind of thing that will sell for like 2 different prices depending on the time of year. Because this is wool, this would probably sell for about like $40 in the summer. But in the winter, this will probably go somewhere around $60 or so. It is a size 2X tall, which is unusual. I'm not as well versed in men's like special sizes, but I can't imagine that they're easy to find on the secondhand market. So this is a great piece. And again, in like perfect condition. Pendleton, again, just one of those heritage legacy brands that everybody knows. They're built well, they're built to last. Their wool is like next to none. Their wool blankets are the investment pieces that I will forever advise people to get. All these minky blankets drive me nuts. I'm like, they're plastic, they're polyester, and they're like $200 to $400. Please, if you have $200, $300 to spend on a blanket, like please go get a Pendleton. That is an heirloom piece. It will keep you warm. It will never make you too warm. You won't get clammy under it. It's an excellent housewarming gift. In fact, one of my 3 that I have at this point, one I thrifted, one I bought for myself, and one was a housewarming gift. And they are all regular rotation and have been for years and years. And I hope to have them in regular rotation for the next, you know, hopefully like 50 years of my life, so. Next up is this cool dress. This is from Dolan, which is an Anthro brand, and it's this cool shiny silver ribbed. It's about knee length, maybe about more like midi length. It's got a tie waist, tank sleeve, and it's a size large. Now, sold comps on this dress are pretty solid. They're like between $35 and $50 depending on size and like new with tags. So love to find it. Anytime I find something that's like metallic silver like this, I tend to pick it up because it sells remarkably well. Like, I've picked up a couple things that in my mind I'm like, this is a little bit dated, but it's that shiny silver, and it sold very, very well. That's just my experience. Hopefully it's the same for you, but like I said, metallics sell very, very well. I think it's mostly because like metallic actual clothing pieces are kind of few and far between for like obvious reasons. They're definitely statement pieces, but I thought that was so cool, and it feels brand new. Like this feels like it was unworn. Next up, again, we are coming up into sweater season, and this thing is actually quite large. But I felt it and I'm like, this feels like mohair. It just has that kind of distinct feel. And the brand on it is Patterson J. Kincaid. It's one size, and it's just kind of one of those oversized like blanket shawls This is not going to show well on the camera at all because it's just too big. But sold comps on similar pieces from Patterson J. Kincaid, which seems to be a pretty high-end brand. They seem to be decent, somewhere in like the $40 to $50 range. Something that I'm probably going to have to photograph on the mannequin just because this is like unwieldy to show on a hanger. But it's in great condition. I like the colors, this like navy blue and kind of brown rugby stripe. Yeah, and it's a wool mohair blend. So, and again, it's in great condition. This is the kind of stuff that like everybody I know that works in an office just keeps in their offices, because I don't know why offices need to be kept, you know, set to tundra, but every woman I know has like an office blanket. And I was absolutely no exception back when I worked in an office. So grab yourself something like that and you'll never be cold. Next up, while we're on the topic of sweaters, this is a little cashmere open front cardigan from Cullen. I love this color. Super, super cute. Just like a little bit of a cascade style front sweater, 100% cashmere. I don't think Cullen is a particularly expensive brand of cashmere, but with any cashmere, you're looking at pretty much a minimum of like $30. So, you know, if you see it inexpensively, pick it up. Obviously, if you see it at the bins. My big tip is when you see it, when you have a piece, easiest way to check for moth holes, find the closest like light source or window and hold it up, and those moth holes will jump right out at you if there are any. This is in great condition. Again, an unusual color. Love this blue. So again, probably somewhere $30, $35 on this. I think I want to get myself a cashmere sweater in that color, just like a basic crew neck. Next up, we found a pair of classic white trousers from Max Mara. Very, very, very high-end brand. Love to see it. These are in fantastic condition. These are like flat front, straight leg. Again, pretty, again, very classic. Unfortunately, the size tag has been cut out, so I'm gonna have to do some like measurements and compare against the website. I think that these are about ankle length, and they, again, they're in great condition. Max Mara, these were probably $400 or $500 new. And on the resale market, I'll probably see for something like this. Now, these are very summery, so these might not sell until like next summer. There's still a lot of people that adhere to the like no white after Labor Day thing, but I'll still probably see $40, $50 on these, maybe a little bit more. You always want to keep your eyes out, especially for like the knitwear. If you can ever get your hands on one of those jackets, you need to like dive across a bin to get that, because they retail like $4,000. No joke, they're very, very expensive. Just kind of like a legacy heritage brand that does extremely high-end basics. This is like, to put this into the grand context of the brands we've talked about today, there's like Eileen Fisher and Theory and James Purse, and they're definitely high-end basics. Max Mara is above all of them. Heritage Italian craftsmanship, gorgeous. Next up, we got a couple vintage pieces, which you know I can't leave behind. This is the most fabulous vintage denim dress from Bonnie Strauss. This is about maxi length, maybe about ankle length. It's got an attached belt, these super fun fabric covered buttons, and I love this detail. This just like, I can tell you with like 99% certainty that this dress went to a Reba McEntire concert in 1993. I don't know how, but I can like feel it. I can like feel that energy. Look at that back. It's got these like little flaps that you would find on like a trench coat. This is just iconic. You know what I'm saying? This is iconic. I will probably see somewhere between like $40 and $60 on this. I will wash this because I can smell just the hint of old cigarette smoke on it, which of course it has old cigarette smoke on it. And I will get this back into the hands of somebody who can turn this into like an amazing outfit. Just like, you can't leave this behind. You can't do it. I can't. Anyway, moral obligation. And while we're on the topic of fabulous vintage things, look at this. So this, again, something that I want to get up ASAP as we're going into the Halloween season. This is a vintage cheerleader sweater. The letters are PV. This is Laura's sweater. It actually seems to be like a size large or an extra large. It's actually a pretty decent size. It's made by Broadway Supply, but it was just too cool. Like, you don't find these things all that often, and even if this goes for like a Halloween costume, I could even see this going into like, you know, a theater, like a costume closet. So very cool. I have no idea what I'll get for this. I have to do a little bit of research in terms of like what other vintage cheerleading sweaters go for, maybe $30. So cool though. As a former cheerleader, we never had anything this cool. Oh my God, look at the detail here. Like the inside, the lining of the pocket is actually red. It's like beautifully made, despite the fact that it is acrylic. Obviously these things were made to be like used and abused, so no wool was used in the making of those. Oh, this was kind of cool. So this is from a brand called No Less Than. And this is a label you should be keeping your eyes out for. They do like, this is like a known slow fashion brand. And it's just like a little midi skirt with a brown kind of organic dot print. It's a size 3XL and they are manufactured in the States. And the retail prices on these are pretty high. I've had a few pieces kind of pass through my hand. They've all sold fairly well for a pretty great price. I've never had anything that was plus size, so that's kind of exciting. And I'll probably see somewhere between like $30 and $40 on this. It's definitely a good brand to keep your eyes out for. And if you are somebody who is like in the market for sustainable fashion, keep your eyes out for No Less Than, especially on the secondhand market, because that just really feeds into their message of sustainability. So very cool. Next up, this is a blast from like my college days. This is a Y2K vintage muscle shirt from Abercrombie and Fitch. This is a men's vintage. And these muscle fit shirts were made with a little extra like room in the arm for muscles. This comes from the days where they used to have like shirtless guys standing outside of the stores and you could smell it from like your car when you're walking into the mall. Those poor people who worked there and had to just inhale that scent all day long. There in Hollister, it was offensive. But anyway, it's vintage Abercrombie. So, I mean, this will probably go like $20, $25. I don't know how well the men's vintage stuff is, but if you find like, especially the Hollister, they have these long sleeve like baby doll shirts. They are going for crazy prices right now. So like Hollister just re-released these. I'll see if I can find a picture right here. Hollister just re-released these. But if you have any sitting in your closet from back in those days, or if you had like a daughter that was that age, that was wearing those things back in those days, like now is the time to sell them. I have like crazy prices. The vintage ones are like $100, $50, $100, depending on what they are. Like, it is insanity to me. And again, you can get the reissue, but people really want the vintage. So anyway, we'll find out how this does. I know that the girls' stuff is selling like hotcakes. We are getting there, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, just about 5 more to go. So these are a pair of really breezy little jogger pants, and this is from the Odells. Now I've had a few pieces from the Odells. Brand is no longer around anymore, but they sell pretty well. Very, very expensive. These were probably like $150. They were sold at Anthro. And you know, sometimes Anthro has those brands that are like twice the price of regular Anthro brands. The Odells was one of them. The last dress I had, I want to say, sold for like $280 on their site. And they're all like Tencel, right? It's not like they're silk or anything like that. They were, you know, pretty average fabrics, but the name carried it. And that dress I think sold for $60 or $70. For the pants, I'm not sure. I think they were more known for their dresses, but I'll expect probably about $30, $35 on these. I love the style. Like the style feels very like Log and Look to me. It's got that kind of boho oversized pocket, real slouchy feel to them. And they feel basically brand new, size small. Next up, this is a Free People piece, and I never find stuff like this from Free People in the bins. This is like a shacket, and I have the name in my spreadsheet. I'll put it down here. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head. It's a size small, obviously very oversized. It's got like elbow patches. This kind of feels like the wrong side of fleece on the outside, right? And then this is like a t-shirt, like a jersey. And then the collar is like a fleece, and it's got some distressing around the edges. This is made to look very deconstructed. Sold comps on this particular piece, I want to say they were between like 40 and 60 bucks. They were pretty high. So I'll definitely get this listed. This is like a perfect back to school pickup, but this particular style is selling quite well for a really great price. So this was a good find at the bins. And I'll tell you, this day, I think I left, you know, we talk a lot about a lot of Free People being pretty oversaturated. This day, I think I left like 10 or 15 Free People pieces behind. So it's pretty wild. I'm just getting selective, right? This is what we're doing here, right? We are just honing our sourcing skills, constantly evaluating what's going on, what's getting saturated, what's picking up, and making sure that we are making the best decisions that we can with the information that we have available to us while we are outsourcing. Great find. Next up, now you know I saw this burnout velvet peeking out at me from across the bin and I jumped on it. So this is from a brand called Harlan, and I'm gonna guess that this was kind of like a Nordstrom brand. I know that they had it on Rent the Runway, and it is just gorgeous. This has like fairy core vibes. It's midi length. It's got ruching down the front, a little split here on the side. It's a size large and it's in fantastic condition. This is something that I'll list, of course, like fairy core, you know, whimsical, mystical, all those kind of keywords. I'll also throw in like formal dress, homecoming dress, hoko, which is like the slang for homecoming these days, you know, prom, cotillion, etc. This is something that I think will go pretty quickly. I would imagine I'll see somewhere around like $60 for this on the resale market. It is just so pretty. Again, something that I'll probably photograph on the mannequin because this looks a lot better with the body under it. So pretty. I mean, you know what a sucker I am for a burnout velvet. Next up, now look at how gorgeous this is. So I saw this, like that looks beautifully made. This is from All Saints. Definitely a brand you need to keep your eyes out for. It's funny, I've never found anything like this delicate from All Saints. It's midi length, it's this beautiful like ethereal floral. I'm obsessed with this bodice. I think that this is so flattering. It literally gives you shape, right? Just kind of gives you that shape. And I love the way that those straps kind of go up, and it's only really skinny, just a little bit, just right over the top of the shoulders. Back is just as lovely. It's size 4. This probably retailed in the like $400 range. Everything I've ever found from All Saints has either been like men's or kind of like a streetwear style sweater. This feels like such a departure, but I know that a lot of their women's wear is kind of in this vein. But it is just gorgeous, so floaty and ethereal and all of those things. And I'll use, you know, formal, homecoming, hoko, prom, etc. And party dress, wedding guest dress, although this might be a little too close to white, so maybe I won't use that. But either way, gorgeous and a great find, especially for the bins. And finally, for all of you 80s babies, I'm about to give you an either welcome or unwelcome blast from the past as I show you this Jessica McClintock for Gunny Sacks cocktail dress. I'm sure some of you just had a moment. So this is like a brocade burgundy color. It is a bodycon mini dress silhouette with this absolutely iconic neckline. So the kind of cool thing is that this is almost like a two-piece neckline. So the thing that actually holds this on your shoulder is this little elastic strap that's on the inside. Let's see if I can show you that. So that's the elastic strap. And I'll tell you, for something that is probably 40 years old, it's still got good stretch to it. Like, this does not feel like it's degraded at all. It's made in the US. It's a size 9-10. And interesting, this fabric is 57% cotton. In a million years, I never would have expected this. I'm sure that this was like an end of season sale or like a sample dress that like a dress boutique would have had for people to try on, but isn't this great? It's missing a few beads here, so that is going to affect the value, and I just don't know what else, I don't know what I'm going to get for it. Now, Gunny Sacks, if you can find the ones from like the 70s, those are going for many hundreds of dollars. So like search your closets. If you have one from your prom in the 70s, like people want it now. You know what I'm saying? Like, people want it and are willing to pay up for it big time. So keep your eyes out for that brand. This is probably like the least desirable era of Gunny Sacks, but still anything with that name attached to it is something that people look for. $30, $100. I don't know what I'm gonna get on this. I'll have to do a little bit more research. And of course I'll have to see what, effect the loss of beads will have, but so fabulous. And I hope this brought all of you 80s babies to a little moment of nostalgia. I got myself a good laugh out of this. My aunt owned a bridal shop, and this, like, when I was growing up, I remember like the bridesmaids dresses. This was what a lot of those looked like. That, and then they would have the headpieces that had the little point down in the middle, if you remember those. If you had those at your wedding, please let me know down in the comments below, because it was a time. It was a real vibe. That is it, guys. That is the whole haul. That is the haul from the bins. That is the haul from the Bougie thrift store. I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me while I nerd out about some of these things. I think I've got somewhere around $1,500 worth of sales here, and I spent about $120 between the two places. So definitely a great return, and now I gotta start getting these pieces processed, clean, photographed, and listed. Now it's time for the real fun. But guys, if you had fun, please consider leaving a like or a comment on this video. Of course, don't forget to hit subscribe. I would love to have you along on this journey. But without further ado, guys, I hope you have the most beautiful week. Happy hunting, and I will see you all in the next